There is something wrong with our society and our culture. We know that. There's something wrong with our church, and we know that too. But we also know that there's something very right with our society and our culture. And we know that there's something very right with our church too. And how are we able to determine how to use the things that are right in society, culture, church, in order to change those things that are wrong, to transform them, to reform them in some ways? Well, we look to a 16th century saint, St Ignatius Loyola, for the wisdom and the advice that he can give us to know what to do in that situation, or in this situation in which we live, where we know the things that are wrong, or at least we intuit some of them, and we also are very attached to the things that are right, and that make us stronger in being able to serve the Lord. But let's look for just a minute with St. Ignatius Loyola about how he developed his criteria. And over the next several sessions or episodes of this Wisdom of St. Ignatius, we'll hone in on how it is that through his wisdom we can become a little bit more adept at identifying in our own situations what it is that we need to do to address the things that are wrong around us in society and in church, and what we need to do to foster those things that are very good and should be fostered and promoted. First of all, from St. Ignatius, what we get in his critique is something very simple. Through the exercises, one grows in a deeper love for Jesus. One encounters Christ through the exercises. And in that personal encounter with Christ, one is given a choice. Will you follow? Will you serve in this wonderful enterprise that Christ came to initiate and which is going on every day? Will you be a part of that enterprise? And the person who encounters Christ, who really encounters Christ, theoretically has freedom to say no, but realistically can't say no to this Christ who's been so generous to come with us. And so from the very beginning, as one goes through the exercises, one is set on fire to want to change the world, want to change the church. And then one just looks to Christ and says, how shall I do this? Ignatius had that same dilemma as he was discerning how he should live. For a while he wanted to go be a monk and reform a monastery, but he became aware, that his path would be to help people, primarily lay people, to come to know Christ. And so he set about in order to do that. His encounter with Christ cast him into the world of his time. And our encounter with Christ is no doubt doing the same thing.